would a 29-year-old you now look at the political climate that you're living in, operating in, how polarised it's become, and want to step forward into it? Or do you understand why so many people right now would rather do anything but stand for Parliament?
I mean, I would always have regretted it if I'd never tried. I think once I'd sort of had the idea, thanks to Michael Gove, I would have regretted it. I think I was getting frustrated at the scale and the pace of change, and I knew that politics was the only way really in the end to do it. So, I think I probably, if I had my time again, I would do it, but I'd probably do it with much, my eyes far more wide open about the realities of what it means for your life, your health, your family, your security. It's tough. And I tell you what I worry about. I used to walk into schools in Wigan and say to young people, particularly young women, you should do it. If I'd spot somebody who seemed engaged, who had views, who wanted to make change, were ambitious, not just for themselves, although I think being ambitious for yourself is a perfectly good thing to do, but ambitious for themselves and their community, and wanted the system to change, I would always say to them, you've got to give it a try. Come and shadow me, come and see what it's like, and if you like it, I'll help you. I hesitate a bit before I say that now. And I sort of caveat it a little. I give it to them as an option, but I don't actively encourage. I still invite lots of young people in to do work experience so they can see what it's like and get a taste of it. But I hesitate, and that is a consequence of the really toxic political environment that we've allowed to grow up, and the fact that there's very little support around. I mean, you had it worse than most, I think, but you speak to any woman in public life and they'll tell you the same story. And I think that it only increases the gulf between us and the public, because people think we must be mad to do it. And, if you think your politician, your representatives are a bit mad, it doesn't encourage a sort of closeness. I think the other thing that I was thinking about when you asked that question, I thought it was really interesting, was that, I've met a lot of people who are great leaders in their own communities, but largely speaking, I don't tend to say to them, you should stand for Parliament. I do often think I'd love it if you were in Parliament, because I'd love to see you make mincemeat of the Tories. Am I allowed to say that on this? I don't know.
Absolutely, sure.
But John Smith wouldn't have been upset, would he? But there's, the bigger thing for me actually is that they often lack the ability to make the change that I know that they could make in the roles that they're in, because not only do they not have the tools to do it, but they haven't got a national government that is actively engaged in levelling the playing field and tilting the balance of power back towards them. It's often the whole system is geared towards people who come in to try and make a quick buck for short-term gain. They're rent seekers who have no stake in the outcome, no skin in the game. They often haven't even set foot in those communities. And one of the reasons I was inspired to write the book is because I don't want to take those people out of communities and put them into Parliament. I want to take the power out of Parliament and put it back into their hands.